So you've been picked for England to go in the one-day series over to Sri Lanka. Is that a surprise?
It's a great surprise. It's a fantastic surprise, though. I've performed quite well this year and was hoping for the best. And to get the phone call from David Graveney was brilliant, and I've been excited ever since.
What's been the difference between your performances this year for Notts and the last few years?
I don't know really. I sat down at the start of the season with the coach and the wicketkeeper Chris Reed, and we talked about where we could improve my wicket taking and runs per over my economy, and we came up with a few little things, and they've all seemed to work. So they've been a great help for me, and as you say, the season's gone really well for me this year.
Now England had a fantastic win on Saturday at Lords, managed to win the 7-match NatWest series by 4 matches to 3. Obviously we've got the 2020 World Championship coming up. What sort of confidence will they take from that performance against India?
I think a great deal. Obviously not all the guys are going out there for the 2020, but those who were involved and are going to South Africa will be buoyed by that. I mean, they've beaten an excellent one-day team with arguably the best batting lineup in world cricket, so they're going to go to South Africa full of confidence, and that bodes well for England.
How difficult is it for England to adjust? You've been playing 50-over cricket, and now they're going to be playing 20-over cricket. How difficult will that be for the guys to adjust?
It will be difficult, but it's something they're used to. I mean, in England domestically, we play a lot of 4-day cricket followed by 20-over, followed by 50-over cricket, so they'll be used to it to a certain extent. It's not ideal, but these are professional guys, and they'll be fully geared towards that 2020 competition now.
And what sort of difference will they expect in the conditions? They've been playing in England, it's been a pretty wet summer, and they're going over to South Africa. What's it like playing cricket out there? What's the difference to playing cricket over here?
Well, I mean, as you'd expect in South Africa, the wickets are generally a bit harder and a bit faster. The grounds are generally a little bit bigger than those in England, so maybe spin bowlers will come into their own a bit more over there even, because it's harder to hit the boundaries. So I'm expecting the conditions to be... it is still early summer in South Africa, so it still might be a bit damp, but I'm expecting them to be pretty good for 2020 cricket.
Now, Notts got to the final in the 2020 domestic competition last year. What is the key to performing well as a team in 2020 cricket?
I think personally the key is variation. At Notts we had super variation from the left arm of Ryan Sidebottom. We had myself bowling spin, left arm spinners, right arm swing bowlers and pace bowlers, and then in your batting you have guys who can work it, hit it in unusual areas, and then your big hitters like Mark Elam. And I think the team that's got the most variation, the most guys in who can really hit it in strange places and really come alive in the game, they're the teams who do well. And I think that could work well for England because they've picked a lot of 2020 specialists. They've got guys who are used to the game, who are good at the game, and fingers crossed that's going to work and bode well for them.
Now, we've been playing 2020 cricket domestically in England since 2003, which is longer than any of the other countries that are going into this competition. Does that give us an advantage?
I think it does. Obviously, the guys who are playing have got more experience at this game than anyone else, any other nation. So hopefully that will give, in those tight games where it comes down to 8 or 9 and over, where other teams might think they're out of it. Maybe the English guys who've played a lot of 2020 and realise that the game's never dead, that might just drag them through. So hopefully when those games do get tight and it's precarious, then the experience and confidence that's gained from playing more 2020 cricket will shine through.
First game of the competition for England is against Zimbabwe on Thursday. Is that a straightforward game, or does the fact that you're playing less overs, could that present a potential banana skin for England?
Well, it's always a potential banana skin. I'd be very surprised if England didn't do a good job on them. But then, watching the rugby recently, it's not always the case that the supposed best team wins. So it'll be interesting to see how they go. I think it's a great game for them to start with, to get that first game out of the way on foreign soil against, shall we say, not the Australias of the world. So I think it's a good game. I'm expecting a heavy win for England though.
And the very next day we play the old enemy. We play Australia. Will our guys be tired going into the game? They've only got, literally 24 hours to recover and get ready for the next game.
I don't think it should be that much of a problem. It's at the end of our season, and because of the rain breaks this year, I don't think anyone will be that fatigued. It is quite hard to play back-to-back, but it's not impossible. It's obviously easier than playing 2 50-over games back-to-back. So I'm sure that the guys are all fit and they'll be there and they'll be ready to just bounce straight back.
And how tough a game will it be against the Australians?
Well, it's a good question, really. I mean, obviously we go back to that game at the Rose Bowl before the Ashes in England that England won, and that was a great game that lifted the whole summer. So if they can beat the Aussies in that game, that will undoubtedly be a tricky one. It's going to be a game that could set up the whole tournament for England.
Set up the whole tournament, so put your money on the line. Do you think England can win this tournament?
Yes, I do. I really do think they can. They'll have to have a bit of luck go their way, because you do in 20 over cricket. You can lose a game in 2 overs, as you can win a game in 2 overs. So if things go their way, and the guys who've been picked as specialists perform and do their roles, then I think they've got as good a chance as anybody.